saw some concrete block houses in here. Are they all just, you pick or choose? 'Cause I don't think.
Those aren't.
This one-
We're in here with two other builders, so we have Miranda and we have Richmond American. So we share this community. Miranda right now is the only production builder that's still using block, and they actually, as of September, actually just moved away from it in this area. So they are also, they were the last ones and they are no longer doing it. It is an option for them now, but their standard is gonna be wood frame just like us.
Our Jacksonville market is all stick frame, all wood frame. Start getting Daytona, maybe a little further south down to Port St. Lucie, we are a block. But any
What are
block.
those things that look like seatbelts?
Right here.
Oh, that's just for our crane. It's just a strap for our crane to hook onto that panel, and then he can fly the panel and sit down. We do use a paneled system. That's another thing. Kind of glad you asked. Paneled system, basically everything is built off-site, not on-site, and user error. It's all built by a machine. It's a massive machine. You've got four pieces, or not four pieces, but four wood entries that come into it. It's all on a computer, and it spits it out. Literally spits it out, stacks it, puts it on a semi, and we bring it out, and then it's literally like, all right, that's panel 1, and that's panel 2, and that's panel 3. Makes it faster for us out here, but also the consistency. If you look at the nail off on the outside, instead of, you know, one of the guys in the field doing it with a nail gun, they can try all day long, but this is literally, I mean, it's, and we can, if you want, we can walk, in a minute, we can walk over to that one over there, you can see it. You can tell it's done by a machine because it's perfect. Everything's perfect.
So they do the jack studs, king studs, the windows and the doors and all that.
Everything.
Piece it together.
There's always a little bit of adjustment.
Right.
I mean, it's construction, it's a machine, but everything is done. Even the interior walls, I mean, there's little pieces that come out that are 2 foot long.
Right.
Everything is done by the panel system. Don't get me wrong, like I said, there's adjustments, things change.
Right.
You know, say they wanted to add in a window here, you know, obviously we would just add in the window if it didn't get into the computer, you know, quick enough, but even if the buyer makes structural changes up front, that structural change will come out. Now, if they change it later, then, you know, that we just gotta add it in, but no, the whole system, trusses, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, those are just basically that one section of panel for them to be able to pick it up with a crane and hook onto it and move it without damaging it.
Talk about your build time.
Not
Take
a
a
lot
what?
of builders do it that way.
Yeah,
What's that?
no,
Not a lot of builders do it that way.
All panels. We are very, and that's a KB corporate thing. You can go KB California, KB Colorado, KB Texas. We are all panels everywhere we build, and it's simply for that right there. Not it's efficiency for us, but it is everything is it's more exact. There's much less human error involved. What's that?
Less humans working on it too.
Yeah, I can't argue with that either.
You talk about your build time.
Build time, yep. We are, so from sales contract to close, we always estimate 6 months. Obviously, as we all know, but we sell it, it's gotta go to permitting, sits there for a little while, depending on the county or the city.
And St. John's is slow.
Yes.
It's busy.
It's slow during the
Busy,
holidays.
that's a positive way to say that. It's busy.
Um,
And they get really busy at the holidays.
I promise we try. We take them donuts, we feed them lunch. It just doesn't always work. But once it does come out, once the house starts, we say 4 months. We're probably closer to 3.5. But once the house starts, which the homeowner or the buyer, always gets happy about, it is about a 4-month build time. Some are faster, some are a little slower, but we average out about 4 months.
I know that, I know Kelly, being from General Real Estate, we deal with you guys a lot, and I know you guys are big on your inspections and things like that. So can you kind of go over
All the
the
inspections.
process and then how
Are
you
y'all-
would work with an outside inspector if they wanted to have somebody come through?
Y'all St. Johns County or Duval?
Well,
They're
mostly
both-
St. John's, but
Mostly, okay.
we have a Jack's Beach office too.
Okay. The inspection, I mean, they're all both, doesn't matter who, Clay, Nassau, doesn't matter. All in all, they're all inspecting the same thing. It's just how and when. In the code book, it reads basically it's up to the jurisdiction of how and when they want to inspect. Everybody does not have to be the same. St. John's, you basically once the walls and roof is up, not actual shingles, we do a wall sheathing inspection, basically to make sure the nails are where they're supposed to be per design. We very rarely have a problem with that because once again, it's done by a machine, not by hand. You know, if it's supposed to be spaced every 6 inches or 12 inches, it needs to be every 6 or 12 inches, not 14 or 18 or whatever else. We also do a roof inspection. That's to make sure that all the roof plywood is down and nothing's loose or flapping, because that's what's holding onto the roof. Once that's passed, that then allows us to, and we'll talk about zip system in a minute, I saw this here. That allows us to tape everything on the outside, allows us to put our window in, and allows us to put our roof on. We then called what's called a roof deck and tie, RD&T. This is St. John's. RD&T, roof deck and tie, that is basically the structural foundation of the home. They're checking for all the truss screws, they're checking for all the anchor bolts down in the concrete, they're checking every individual truss. There's truss packet is very thick. They sit here and go through each one of them, make sure everything is like it's supposed to be. In Duval, they call it a frame inspection. So either a roof deck and tie or a frame inspection. Typically the inspection's a couple hours long depending on the size of the house. If you start getting into a 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 square foot house, you can be there almost all day. Once that's the biggest structural one, then we come in and check all of MEPs, mechanical, your AC, electric, and plumbing. Check everything there, and then that pretty much gives us the green light to put in insulation. I was supposed to be hanging drywall today, but we held off a day for some special people.
Thank you.
Typically, once I have my insulation inspection, which is this here, and then a reminder, we do our third-party inspection, we then go to drywall. Pretty much the inspections after that, after drywall's up, they kind of just go on in the background. They don't slow down production. Then obviously, as we all know, our certificate of occupancy at the end. St. Johns County is very big on landscape inspection as well as what I call a site inspection. Your site inspection is all your concrete. They want to make sure that everything is draining properly. They want to make sure your sidewalks don't have too much fall to them for ADA customers. You can't have too much slope so that a wheelchair's scooting down the sidewall when it's not supposed to be. Duval is very similar, just different wording, but it's all checking the same thing and pretty much the same process. Third-party inspections, if you guys are the buyer, I know a lot of realtors split it with them, pay for it. All I ever ask is let's just do it to where we have enough time to take care of the list. You know, a lot of people want to bring a third-party inspection in the day before closing, and that's just kind of rough because they get the email before closing, and we've all seen home inspectors do it. They're 60, 75 pages long. A lot of it is a lot of general good knowledge for them, but they see a 65-page document and they freak out the night before closing. That's never good for anybody.
Right.
Let's do it a week before. Let's do it 5 days before. Let's review it, take care of the list, and then with the customer or the buyer, we can all review it and make sure it's all done for you. I have some that do it all the way from the very beginning. They do a slab inspection, they do kind of a pre-drywall or frame inspection they would call, and then they do one at the very end. Doesn't matter to me at all, doesn't matter to us, you're more than welcome. We know most of the companies in town, obviously we just ask for insurance and all that, but we have no big deal with it. What is y'all's, what's y'all's opinion on new home and home inspections and versus, I get a 20-year-old home, but sometimes I don't quite understand it at the very beginning of a brand new home.
I don't recommend it. I don't come out and suggest it, but some customers that they request it, and then of course we have to comply. But as an agent representing them, I don't see any need because I come to all of the inspections myself, and
I've seen you before. I can't place it, but I've seen you before.
and there is there are warranties, so
Correct.
there's really no point. But then again, I have seen where my inspector has come in because
Found
that
something.
customer, and they have found something,
Sure.
something in the attic or whatever, minor things.
Mm-hmm.
But so we don't argue. They pay
couple
for
of
it. We
times-
bring them.
Yeah, a couple of times it was new systems, and I don't even remember the details, but it wasn't hooked up correctly because it was new. It was something the builder just started doing. But we have found a few things that save people some headache.
A little bit of headache, right?
Real quick, Tyler, is when your buyer does build a new home with us, the building superintendent is in touch with them quite often via text, letting them know what's going on. And us as
Weekly.
us as the sales counselors, as the agent for KB, we're in touch with them every week as well, letting them know, hey, here's what we did this week. Here's what our building soup is projecting to happen next week. So they're always aware of what's going on. We have no issue with our buyers if they're local coming and walking the house. What we will tell them is, hey, during work hours, if there's someone in the house, please don't go in because safety issues. We can get them a hat. We'll walk it with them if they're like, hey, I'm time crunched. So we'll take time to come out and spend it with them. But also, so they're always in touch